Good morning, students. Class 11 English Reader, Book Hornbill. Today I have taken up the first poem, Naming a Photograph by Shirley Towson. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face. My mother's that was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed her for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both three with the labored ease of flaws. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to see at all. Its silence silences. Now, Shirley Towson's poem, A Photograph, is a tribute to her mother. The poem describes three stages in the passage of time. In the first stage, the photograph shows the poet's mother standing at the beach enjoying a holiday with her two girl cousins, and she was around 12 years old at that time. The second stage takes us 20 or 30 years later. The mother would laugh at the way she and her cousins are dressed up for the beach holiday. In the third stage, the poet remembers the dead mother with a heavy heart. The photograph revives a nostalgic feeling in the poem. Nostalgic means a feeling of homesick or going back with the family or longing for something. You can say the moments which are no more now present, they are gone. Now let's understand the poem stanza wise. In the first four lines, as you can see, an old photograph of poet's mother is pasted on a cardboard that makes the poet recall old memories of her mother's childhood. Now this photograph is depicting of her mother's enjoyable moments. Depiction means portraying in words, describing the enjoyable moments of her mother at a sea beach with her two cousins when she was young, around as we have seen 12 years old. They were walking in shallow water with bare feet near the beach. The mother is standing in the middle and the two sisters are holding her hands on the either side. The poet's mother is, as I told you, 12 years old, and the photograph is showing that it's very old, but the poet has kept it very carefully as it reminds her of sweet memories of her mother's childhood. The photograph also indicates how enjoyable her mother's childhood was. Now, seeing the next lines, all three stood still to smile. Now here, the photograph is showing that all three girls are standing and they are standing still smiling at the camera when their uncle is clicking their photograph at the sea beach. As the weather is windy, their hairs are flying over their smiling faces. And the expression on the faces of the poet's mother, as the poet can see, and her cousins was that of happiness and enjoyment. The mother was looking very pretty at that time, and the photograph was taken a long time ago. Everything has changed since then. Her mother has grown up, now she was dead, and the poet was reviving her memories. The only thing, as we can see, that has remained unchanged is the sea, which was washing the feet of all three girls. Now, the word transient here means it is indicating the ever changing lives of human beings, as it is being compared to the sea waves which will remain as they are. There is no change in them, but we can see that human life is short and the nature is ever lasting. So it's a small comparison between the sea and the human lives. The girl's life has changed drastically during this period, but the sea has not changed. The stanza beautifully explains the transient nature of human beings. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. Now, in this stanza, even 20-30 years later, the mother would look at the photograph and laugh nostalgically remembering the happy memories of her past. Now, this was nostalgically means a feeling where a person wants to go back, longing for the gone moments which are no more now present. And here she's remembering the happy memories of her past. Mother would look at the photograph and comment on the dresses which are worn by herself and the cousins Dolly and Betty. The sea holiday was her mother's past, and her mother's laughter had become a thing of the past for the poet, as her mother was now dead. The poet still remembers how her mother would laugh at the photograph, remembering the sea holiday with a fondness as well as a sense of loss because that time which has gone would never come back. In the same way, the poet is feeling nostalgic thinking about her mother and her laughter, which has become a thing of past for the poet. The words labored and ease are opposite to each other, as we can see, and they describe the same entity loss because she has lost her mother even and the memories of her mother's childhood, which has gone with her mother itself. The last stanza here explains us that the poet recalls that it is nearly 12 years since her mother has died. The poet is consumed with grief. Now she is sad, still sad, responds to the loss, but it's left with no words to express her loss and pain. She's not able to express how much painful it is for her to not having her mother with her at present. The painful silence of the situation leaves the poet speechless. The poet can feel the grief but is unable to express it through words. The silence caused by death makes the atmosphere gloomy, where no one is able to utter words. That's why there is complete silence and only silence. So, this is our poem we have read. You go through it, try to understand. I'll share the solutions of the poem along with the video. Go through it. If you have any queries, let me know in the feedback in our WhatsApp group. Till then, thank you, class.